Hello, and welcome to this episode of Just the Two of Us, my podcast on relationships. And today I want to talk about being triggered by our kids. Um, let's say we have a 6-month-old and we're trying to get them to sleep and nothing helps, or they're fussy and we can't figure out why they're fussy. Um, then we're very empathetic. We might get frustrated, but we're empathetic. Let's say we have a 2-year-old and we want to hug them and they push us away. We might be empathetic, but then if they want to hug the other parent or they run to their aunt or uncle, then we might feel a little rejected. Okay, and when they're 5 and we say they can't have any more candy and they say they hate us, Um, and when they're 10, 12, and they shut the door in our face, um, that's where we feel shut out, we feel rejected. Um, we might even feel incompetent. Um, so what happens to us in those situations and how should we react? I want you to take a deep breath for a minute and just think about those situations and kind of feel it in your body when your 6-month-old is fussy and you can't get them to sleep, when your 2-year-old is pushing you away, when your 5-year-old is telling you that they hate you. What comes up for you emotionally? What do you notice that's going on in your body in those situations? Kind of take a deep breath. And now I want us to think about the way that our kids push our buttons. Um, our kids are wired to get us emotionally. I mean, they um, one researcher says that what kids do when they try to figure out emotions is kind of download our emotional system. So they kind of know which buttons to push and they see our reactions, even micro reactions, um, and they know how to capitalize on them. One of our biggest fears is that our kids won't love us. And sometimes we're governed by that, and we have to notice that. Another thing is that through that fear, we understand that our kids can say things that really rattle us. And so I want us to notice that when we're interacting with them and see how and kind of develop our awareness and kind of bring in some space for us to be more in control when we're in interaction when we're interacting with our kids, and then kind of um have a minute, a second, a millisecond before we react. And we have to understand that in every interaction with our kids, we're the grown-ups, they're the kids. We're the adults. We are more mature and we can be more in control than they can. And this conversation today has nothing to do with boundaries and how we set them to our kids. I want to talk about what happens inside of us when our kids get under our skin, when they say they don't love us, when they say they hate us, when they push us away, when they shut us out. And I want us to be able to notice what's coming up for us and not kind of automatically reacting to them from our hurt place, but kind of reacting as a parent, as an adult, um, as a person responsible for the well-being, the emotional well-being, the safety of this child, and understanding that this child is not responsible for my well-being. I'm responsible for their well-being. They're a child. I can tell them it's not a proper way to speak. I can give consequences to use of bad language. but I do not want to act to have a knee-jerk reaction to what they're saying. I want to react in a calm, control, as much as I possibly can, in a calm, controlled way, because I want the message to come across that I'm the adult and I'm strong enough to hold their emotional well-being at heart. And I'm strong enough to handle as powerful emotions as they have. And I know what to do with it. So when they tell me that, let's say my child tells me, I hate you. My 4 or 5-year-old says that. I can kind of take a deep breath and say, I can see how hurt you are, or how angry you are that I'm not giving you any more candy. And it is frustrating. I can validate their emotions, and I don't have to use the same words that they did. If my teenager is shutting the door, I can respect their privacy, and I can say, well, I'm here for you when you want to talk. If I get annoyed at them, or I get upset or hurt because they're pushing me away, I'm acting like a teenager as well. I'm not acting like the parent. And that's where I need to draw the line. I need to be the adult. That does not mean that I'm not hurt. After I finish my interaction with my child, then I can go and process my emotions. And by processing my emotions, I might need some time to myself. I might want to talk to my partner. I might want to talk to my therapist. I might want to talk to get some parenting advice from an expert. But I'm not putting this on my child. My child does not have to help me process my emotions. I can say, after I've processed my emotions, after this whole situation is over, I can say, it wasn't very considerate, the language that you used, or when you were upset, maybe we can think of other ways to deal with that. Because we, as Virginia Satir says, we're in the people-making business, and we want to help our children become functional adults in society. And in order for us to help them do that, we need to give them tools. And one of those tools is kind of helping them navigate situations when they feel overwhelmed, when they feel angry, and how they can use their words differently. So kind of talking through that emotional stuff with them, what they were going through, not what I was going through, because they don't have to help me process my emotions. They're not in charge of my emotions. I can say that it was hurtful what they said, but I don't have, I don't think it's not necessary, but I don't think it's even right for us to have our kids carry our emotional load. We want to help them, as I said, grow up securely. And growing up securely is understanding that the adult can deal with whatever strong emotions this teenager, this child is having. Because if the adult isn't able to hold these emotions, then the child feels insecure because they can't handle the strength, the volume of the emotions that they're going through. So what am I saying in today's episode? I'm saying that we can expect our kids to push us away, and we want them to be able to focus on their own emotions and be authentic to themselves. Because if we think about them growing up, we want them to grow up being able to say what they want, when they want, and be able to listen to their inner needs and wants. We want to help them express themselves in a more positive way, in a more constructive way, but we can expect them to kind of lash out when they're angry or upset. And we want them to feel that they can lash out and we can hold them. We can create a space where they can express their emotions safely, and they don't have to consider our emotions, because we want them to be able to listen to themselves. What happens to me when my teenager, my baby, a toddler acts out, pushes me away? I'm there for them, and then I process my emotions in a different setting. Thank you for listening to this episode. If there are questions, feel free to reach out. If there's anything you'd like me to discuss in following episodes, please send me a message. Thank you for listening to just the two of us. Bye-bye.